75 to 85% of patients with a mild case of COVID-19 recover their sense of smell in 2 months, according to a new study. But with the virus spreading so fast, more and more people are finding they can't smell or taste for much longer. Chrissi Kelly, the founder of AbScent, is with us now. She's here to talk about the work her nonprofit is doing to provide support and resources to people trying to regain their sense of smell. Chrissi, thanks for being with us. So talk to us about why you started this group and why you started a support group for COVID-19 patients.
Thanks for having me. I started a charity in 2016 to support people who had lost their sense of smell just on an informal basis. But obviously, as soon as the pandemic hit, we knew that we needed to make provision for all the thousands of people that were coming into our Facebook group. So that sort of grew from zero back in March to now we are close to 20,000 members.
You know what I'm sort of hoping? That out of this pandemic, because we are seeing increasing numbers of people dealing with what you're talking about, losing their sense of smell, or kind of a version of chronic fatigue syndrome, that maybe some of these challenges and illnesses that people have been dealing with that have not gotten a lot of attention, there's going to be a lot more attention, hopefully a lot more money, and maybe some sort of like resources to finding a cause or a way to fix it. Your group in particular, you know, what are people going through that they start to seek out support? I can't imagine what it would be like to lose my sense of smell. I have a concept of how that would hamper my quality of life, but I'm sure it goes much deeper than even I can sort of imagine.
That's absolutely right. I mean, when you want to imagine, for instance, not being able to see or not being able to hear, it's easy enough to close your eyes or cover your ears. But losing your sense of smell is another dimension entirely. Not to have a sense of smell, you know, it's a bit like looking in the mirror and not seeing a reflection. You start to lose your connection with your you know, your family, your loved ones, your environment. You feel very distanced from the experience from the human experience. And that's a very, very difficult way to live. People find it quite shocking in the first instance. People become very, very anxious. They don't know whether this is going to be a long-term thing. So we see people really in all phases of their journey, right from people who've lost their sense of smell a couple of days ago to people who have been without it now for, well, even years if it's been from a pre-COVID kind of condition.
AbScent hosts several webinars about topics involving COVID-19 and loss of smell. I want to show a clip where you discuss how this issue actually affects how people eat.
Do you detect sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami? Because if you do, that's a fantastic opportunity for you to kind of really dial up the elements in your food to get as much pleasure as possible from that.
But Sherry, can I just jump in here and say that, of course, with COVID-19, we've got lots of patients who have also lost true taste.
Okay.
And that is then a double challenge.
You also post calls for people to talk about their symptoms and experiences. So what have you learned from these experts and interacting with patients?
Well, we've made some really, really interesting discoveries. We've been talking about things like this experience that people have called a smell lock, where they will just they'll have smell something, let's say in the morning, and then 3 or 4 hours later they're still smelling it. And so this has been reported quite a bit. We've actually just released a paper in which we describe this. And we are really adding to what we understand about parosmia, which until now is very reduced. So parosmia, just for anyone that doesn't know what that is a qualitative disturbance to the sense of smell, where things are distorted, most often very negatively. So your cup of coffee will begin to smell really disgusting, or cooking meat, for instance, is another common one that's reported.
Oh man, that is fascinating. Chrissi Kelly, thank you for putting together this group. And, you know, like I said before, hopefully with this pandemic, there will be more attention paid to these sort of disorders and challenges, and you'll get the money and the support that you need. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.